Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Hold the Ball. It has been it's been a while actually. I think there's a bit of an understatement. In saying that, we're back. I'm back. I'm happy. Thank you again for tuning in. But before I start, I have over to my my left, my right, something like that. Warriors and our Fanatics. Before I start, man, introduce yourself, man, and let's get straight into this unfortunate horror show.
Yeah, look, as people don't know who I am already, I'm Warriors and our Fanatics. So I run a YouTube channel, just like Hold the Ball. I do rugby league content, New Zealand Warriors content, NRL content as well. And yeah, it's been a while since we last did one of these shows. Actually, it's probably been over a month ago. You know, you've had some things going on in your life, which is, hope it's all much better. But yeah, look, it's great to be back on the on your channel again for a while, and yeah, looking forward to discussing, which is unfortunately the case with the Warriors, is that horror show over the season actually, and the last couple of weeks, and that weekend against South Sydney Rabbitohs, which we'll definitely talk about.
Yeah, look, the season, the last couple of years, I think, you know what I mean. Yeah, look, yeah. First and foremost, again, thank you again for your respects and well wishes there. Yeah, glad to be back. Looking forward to today, and I suppose again unraveling what was a very pathetic. I'll be honest, a very pathetic display there against the Rabbitohs. So, without further ado, I think we'll get straight into it. So, I guess look, for better or worse, Fanatics, if you don't mind, give me your thoughts or general review, as in depth as you want. Okay.
Yep. Yeah. Look. I saw. Well, I missed the majority of the start of the game, which, going back to it, I'd be glad I did, because when I got home, turned on the TV and watched the game, the scoreline was already 24-0. So, yeah, look. I mean, what can you say? I mean, look, going back on the game, I did watch it back and looked at highlights and the replay and all that stuff, but the defense, especially that we leaked the majority of our tries, were just very soft, very average, just not NRL stranded at the end of the day. And we made the Rabbitohs, well, they just pulled us apart defensively wise. We just had no answers for it. And yeah, it was one-way traffic. It's 48-10 was the final score. So only 2 tries. Sean Johnson, Edward Cozy was our only 2 try scorers. So, Cameron Murray, Latrell Mitchell, Cody Walker, Alex Johnston, they all pulled us apart. They all had great games. So, look, fair play to the Rabbitohs. They were way too good for us. But the Warriors, I kind of expected a bit more effort. And the selection of Wade Egan out of position in the halves was a very poor selection by Stacey Jones there. And the dropping of Josh Curran to the bench, that wasn't warranted. Josh Curran, when he came on, I thought he played well. But, yeah, it was an average performance, just disappointing, and there's just no effort. You want to see effort regardless of the result, regardless of the scoreline, but we didn't see that in the whole game.
Yeah, no, well sung. Yeah, look, from my point of view, look, as soon as Ilias scored the try in the first 5 minutes, I thought, yeah, this is over. Like, I just knew straight away, whatever plan we had, it was done. And I was unfortunately right, because to be fair to you guys, the points kept on piling in from Cook to Latrell Mitchell, Golor Matangi, even who was it? Even their winger Thompson. His last name was Thompson. Yeah. Unfortunately, the first name eludes me, but. Then Johnson. It was basically a free for all. It was a grab whatever you want. It was a bloody buffet, and the Rabbitohs came to eat, and they ate well. In saying that, though, I thought there was parts of their game where, had they been a bit more clinical, minus some errors, I think they could have added a lot more. But in saying that, as a Warriors fan, you sort of are just happy that you walked away, with 48-10 as opposed to probably 58-10, which is what I thought it could have been. Now, over to the Warriors. Again, just atrocity after atrocity, really. I felt like I had to actually personally apologize to the Rabbitohs and their fans for playing against such a woeful opponent in the Warriors, to be fair with you guys. I found myself really just feeling just so disgusted at the fact that the Rabbitohs have to play us. I mean, the Rabbitohs got nothing out of this, really. Let's be honest. There was no challenge. There was no, determination from our front. There was no heart. There was no steel, no grit, nothing. It was basically turnstile defense from the first minute right to the last. And like I said, had it not been for a few errors from the Rabbitohs, maybe clocking off in the last 15 minutes, it could have got worse. As Fanatics touched on as well, the 5'8" selection of Wade Egan proved to be nothing but absolute. And forgive me here because my verbiage is a little bit more aggressive, but it was nothing short of just crap. And it wasn't even Egan's fault. No. You can't blame him. The fact that he did one or two good passes against the Storm and that somehow translates to him being selected as 5'8" is all you need to know about where the club is at this very moment. That's all you need to know. Honestly, if it takes a hooker to pass the ball once or twice around the park to be named 5'8" the week after, that's all you need to know about where this club is at. Now, again, I'll just wrap it up quickly before we go into the players to talk about. The game itself was, for the Warriors, and it was nothing. There's not much there to talk about. Fanatics touched on it before we started. It was 8 tries to 2. There's no solace, there's no closure, nothing. You sort of saw Stacey Jones tearing up at the end there. I'm not sure if you guys saw it in the coach's box, but Stacey Jones appears to be tearing up. And as much as I obviously sympathize with him, I still couldn't help but point the finger at him and saying that you still wanted to pick Egan at 5'8". So at the same time, as much as I understood the passion that he was showing, I still couldn't really care at the end because ultimately his decisions hurt the team. Now, again, I know we're rubbish. I get it. So I'm not going to go over that part. But, yeah, I think I'll just sum it up. It was just bad, crap, unfortunate, wasn't great. So I'll finish that off with that. All right, so players to talk about. I've got here a list of players we can talk about one by one, just have a bit of a discussion around them. I guess, Fanatics, your thoughts on Reece Walsh overall, I guess.
Yeah, look, I don't think he played well. No, I really don't. I mean, I just think that, with it being the season over, I don't think his mind is on playing for that Warriors jersey more in particular. So, yeah, look, I like Reece Walsh. I think he's a good player, good talent, but his mind is on next year. That's where his mind is on. Playing for the Broncos. That's where he signed for the next 3 years, I believe it is, 3 years. So, I don't know. Look, I wouldn't blame him. What's the motivation playing the Warriors at the moment? What motivation is there? Because we're not playing for anything. The mindset of players will be on next year, and that's where the players' mindset will be. So, yeah, I don't think Reece Walsh played particularly well, in my opinion. That's what I believe in. I think his mindset's probably on next season.
Yeah, no, I don't have much to say on Reece Walsh. I'll just skip it.
Yeah, I don't want to.
Dylan Watson is back for mine. He was, in my opinion, okay. I mean, again, a game where most of our attack was basically destroyed, basically nullified. You can't really talk again in general. DWZ was okay, fine. I'm not too sure really what to sort of say there. Your thoughts on Montoya, Fanatics?
Look, I think he was good. I think it was all right. I don't think he had a bad game in particular. For me, I mean, look, there's not many. I don't think he had too many opportunities against the Rabbitohs on the day. So I don't think it was bad, but I think, look, he was all right. Look, he was all right. He was doing his best on the field, which I think he can put his head up and say his effort was there. So, yeah. I mean, it was not too bad.
Yeah. Yeah, look, you and Aitken for mine. I thought defensively wasn't too bad. Overall, though, a selection where we should have been very excited again. Because it was such a mixed selection, I think Egan being selected at 5'8", unfortunately, was probably more so the focus, as opposed to Aitken being back at where he naturally should play in the centers. In the game there, though, unfortunately, again, his attack was nullified, much like the rest of the boys. But defensively, he was good. And I think much like Montoya, he's probably one of the better players. Again, when we're saying better, I don't mean like, good, really good per se, but he was all right. Thoughts on Kossi?
Look, I thought Edward Cozy was all right. I think he warrants a spot in that side at the moment. I think, there's been a lot of criticism on Edward Cozy when he came in to the side. But look, he had a great game at Mount Smart. And I think it was Mount Smart. Was he played against the Tigers? I believe it was, or someone else. I can't remember from my memory. But he did have a good game over the last couple of weeks. And no, I think it was Melbourne, actually. I think he scored a hat-trick against Melbourne. So correct me if I think I'm corrected there. But, yeah, look, I think he played well. I think he, he did score a try as well. But, yeah, look, I think he earns a spot there in that side at the moment.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I reckon Kossi set himself up nicely for next year. And I think the way he's been going, he's probably, for mine, cemented his spot for the wing position this year anyway for the remainder. And I think even for next year, I think, which is, yeah. All right. The next lot, Wade Egan, Fanatics, over to you. What are your thoughts on Wade Egan's performance?
Yeah, look, yeah, Wade Egan for me is a hooker. He's our best hooker at the club this year. Now, I've gone on a limb and said, I did a video saying that I reckon he should be a player of the year. I know some people might not agree with that, which is fair enough, but I think he's been our best player for me this season. If you're putting it into context. So,
yeah, I see
did he play well against the Rabbitohs? Well, it's not entirely his fault. I don't think he was able to do what he wanted to do because he was put in a position which is not his position at the end of the day. So he's a hooker at the start, and he's always been a hooker. So don't play him at 5'8" again. That's my opinion on it. And yeah, that's where I stand on Wade Egan. I think he's had a great season, and he's no 5'8".
Yep. No, okay. I agree. And this is going to sound silly, but a bit of Darwin's theory for you guys as well, just a little bit. If you put a fish literally on a tree and you tell the fish to climb up on the tree, it ain't going to work, right? And it's a silly analogy, but similar to Wade Egan. He's a hooker. Why the heck are you putting him at 5'8", expecting him to be a 5'8"? It ain't going to work. I'm sorry. Basic principles there, I'm sorry, just absolutely lost on our coach there. And like Fanatics said, and I think he summed it well, it's not his fault. It ain't. And no, he didn't have a good game at all. But again, I can't blame him. You can't blame a hooker for not playing well at 5'8", especially against a hot attacking Rabbitohs team. Oh my goodness. The frustration. All right, Sean Johnson, man. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on Sean Johnson?
Just inconsistent. Yeah. Inconsistent. Yeah. No words to say it for me. He's just not having a good season. And, I think he's just waiting for the end of the year and waiting for next season because, yeah, he hasn't had a great season for me. So, yeah, that's all I'm going to say about him.
Yeah. Look, I think I'll follow through there. Sean Johnson, apart from one little try, it was a good little wraparound run, though, to be fair.
Yep.
The try he scored. But again, too little, too late. When the pressure's off, some of our players love to rise, right? And I just find it really ironic and hilarious that when there's nothing, when the opposition don't care, when they're closing their eyes, we love to play well. And I'm just so sick of it. I'm so sick of it. All right, Adam Funwell-Blake. I think I'll do this one here. Adam Funwell-Blake, for mine, he wasn't too bad. I thought he definitely tried. You can definitely see the frustration on his face. He's somebody who lets his emotions definitely show. For someone who looks very, I guess, aggressive most of the time, but I thought he was okay offensively, defensively, wasn't bad. Again, we absolutely just get smashed. What do you sort of do? But I thought he's one of the standouts there. Over to the future, the golden boy, classic, Blondie. What were your thoughts on him?
Look, I really like that. I really like Freddie Lussick. I think he's a pretty good, solid player. I mean, he's not your flashiest type of player, but I think he does the job pretty well. But yeah, as a starting player this week, or last week, sorry, against the Rabbitohs. Look, for me, yeah, like, I probably would have preferred Egan starting. Yeah, and that's just me being quite honest here. I think Egan is a starting hooker and Lussick coming off the bench. I think Lussick's better coming off the bench for me. So, yeah, I mean, that's how I like seeing it play out for me because, that's where I think it's better suited. So, yeah, I mean, that's just my opinion on Lussick.
Okay, yep.
Yeah.
I thought for mine that Lussick handled the starting hooker position very well. I thought defensively he was, and I'm sure you guys saw it. He was the first to put in the big hit, right, smashing Ilias. I think at one stage, even put I think Tatola on his backside as well. Like he's not scared to dig the shoulder in, and it was also Suluka Fifita as well. He smashed a few of the big boys there for the Rabbitohs, showing again that he has heart, which I really, really appreciated in a game where obviously we got absolute ramsacked. Now, look, in saying that, obviously he's not the starting hooker. We absolutely, as that backup hooker at 14 utility, I think it's probably safe to say that he wins that position for mine, in my own opinion. I know it's going to be a very highly contested position heading into next year, but I mean, for mine, I think Lussick is the easy 14. I think anyway. Okay, now next player, Harris. What were your thoughts on our captain Tohu Harris?
Yeah, look, I think Tohu Harris. Yeah, he had a great game. I think he's one of our best forwards. In particular, he was. I think he was one of the standouts too in the individual stats as well. He was leading the way in the most. I think he was leading the way in most tackles and that. So, yeah, I think he had a great game in particular. And Tohu Harris, he never disappoints. So, yeah, I thought he was great.
Okay.
Yep.
Your thoughts on Suriname? While I just go through the comments, and I'll be reading them out soon. Sorry, guys.
All good. Look, Bailey Suriname. Yeah, look, I thought he was pretty average. Yeah, I'm still not big on him. I really am. I'm still, just I don't know. I mean, for me, Bailey Suriname, he can be a good defensive player in the team, but yeah, look, I don't know. I don't really rate his performance like against the Rabbitohs.
Okay, that fair enough, and I think
Yeah.
I'll in turn say the same.
Yeah.
So Lulu here has a question, and again, sorry guys, I'm going back through the comments, but again, feel free to continue to comment as well. I know we spoke about this beforehand. Justin Morgan, do you think Justin Morgan should have a job next year? And I know my friend Fanatics is very animated when it comes to Justin Morgan. I think he's one of the more straight, direct sort of opinions going around at the moment in the Warriors camp. What are your thoughts on Justin Morgan, and should he be with us next year?
Absolutely not. Yeah, I mean, I said this over the last couple of seasons. I think last year I did when I did the video, I was talking, and I mentioned Justin Morgan, and if things don't change, I think he should be gone. And it hasn't changed. Our defense has gone completely backwards. It hasn't gone anywhere. We're still up there with the most missed tackles in the comp, I believe. And he's just not the right person just for me in terms of the defensive side of the game. I mean, that's just how I see it. He needs to go. In my opinion, he needs to go.
Yep, no, well said, and I agree with you there. Again, guys, I'm just flicking through the comments there, reading what I can because we do have a bit of a busy sort of a schedule too in the show. Robert says, need another Mandarin, Michael Luck, and a Ben. Matalino or Henry? I'm assuming he means Matalino, eh? I'm just going to assume. Yeah, I agree. Jacko here. Lussick has had a very good game in the losing side. His tackling was very hard and fierce. Davison, what is your beverage of choice tonight? It is a Carlton Zero. I'm a teetotalist, so zero alcohol always. Carlton Zero. Yeah. Hey, Daniel, how are you? Yes. All right, sweet guys. I want to get back into it. And the last lot of players as well. What are your thoughts? I guess I'll talk to Murchie. Yeah. Look, for mine, Murchie, I think he put in one big hit where somebody dropped the ball. Besides that, again, and I don't know. I almost feel like you stick the majority of these players in the same category, really. He was okay at best. What are your thoughts on Aaron Bennett?
Oh, gosh, don't even get me started. Oh, Aaron Penne. I think the shake of the head tells the story, doesn't it? Yeah, look, he's just not providing what he needs to provide in this team. I think he's been thrown in, he's been thrown in the lock position. He's not a lock. He's more of a prop or a player that comes off the bench for me. So I don't think Aaron Penne, he's come from a system from the Melbourne Storm. We always say that with players from high quality systems, they come to a different team and just a different player altogether. So I've been completely, disappointed with Aaron Penne this season and his performances. I'm not going to lie here. So in this game, I'm not going to say too much. I mean, that's all. I'll just say he wasn't. He just wasn't great.
Yeah. I think I'll follow on with what Fanatics has been saying there, ladies and gentlemen. But I think for mine, Aaron Bennett, for Aaron Bennett, when the season started this year, I was very excited. I was very, I suppose, I was looking forward to what he could bring. Right, that was the excitement. What could he bring, especially being a big, solid unit. Generally speaking, he's not a small guy. And look, again, I don't mean this with any disrespect or offense, but as the season has worn on, I've seen basically a lot of. I've been disappointed. All right, I'm just going to say it. I'm going to be upfront. I've been disappointed by Aaron Bennett. Fanatics little mentioned there he's not necessarily a lock, and then I think Fanatics said he's probably a prop, and then he's probably thinking, I don't even know what the heck he is really. So I don't even know if he's a prop or even a second row. I don't know what he is because, to be fair with you guys, I just don't think he brings that. I don't think he brings in that tenacity. Doesn't bring in that intensity. He's not somebody who looks like he's willing to give it his all. I don't know. It looks like he's always got so much energy after the game, and I don't mean that disrespectfully, but sometimes I think I'll just keep this really plain and simple. For a player that I was actually looking forward to seeing, I don't really like seeing him much anymore. I don't know why, but I just don't think he brings that grit that I really hoped he would bring. I think that's probably an estimation, so I'll leave it at that. Daniela Otukolo, what are your thoughts on Daniela Otukolo? Bearing in mind that I think he only played about 17 minutes or less.
17 minutes it says here, so he's played 17 minutes. For 17 minutes, it's hard to get a gauge on Taniela Otukolo.
Yeah.
So, I don't know how to sum this up, really, to be honest. I mean, he's a player that's been talked about for many years, many seasons. He hasn't really been given a lot of opportunities in first grade. So, there's been talks around his running game and how his running game is quite good, but yet to see it. So, I don't know really how to sum it up, to be completely honest. I think, good young talent, but, yet to see a lot of him.
Okay, fair summation.
Yeah.
I thought that with the little stint he had there was probably his best little stint he's actually had this whole season. That's what I thought anyway. But again, too small a sample size. So you're right there. Bunty from the back fence, R4. What were your thoughts on Bunty?
Bunty Afo, he's always a good player. He's always adds that provided impact off the bench. We know a lot of Warriors fans love Bunty Afo. He's very popular amongst the fan base. And I think in this game in particular, I think he had a bit of a mixed bag. There were a few times where he got, found it out quite a bit. Like, there was quite a couple of times where Souths and their big, massive forwards, went in there and charged up at him. And, I think I don't know if he made many mistakes, but he was probably not as much of an impact as he usually is for me, if that's politely putting it, because he's usually a player that does provide a lot of impact off the bench. So I don't think it was terrible. I don't think he had a shit game or a shocking game. So, yeah, I mean, I like Bunty. I'm always a big fan of him, but I don't think his impact was as much as he had over the last couple of games.
Yep, no, I agree, and yeah, and I think I'll lean your way there as well. I do appreciate that every time he carries the ball, he's running, he's running hard, and I guess I appreciate that about Bunty. Whether we're losing or winning, he's always giving his best as all. But yeah, it's one of those games. I think 50-50 for him on Saturday night. Oh, sorry. Josh Curran. Give me your thoughts on Josh Curran overall. Again, remembering that he got dropped to the bench. Wow. Wow. That's what I'm going to say. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, Josh Curran's, been our best player, one of our best players up there this year. You got to say that. And he getting dropped to the bench was a big shock to me when I saw that team selection last week on Tuesday. And look, coming off the bench, I thought he played, he added a little bit of impact, even though the team was struggling a lot. So, yeah, Josh Curran needs to be starting. Don't drop him to the bench. Just don't. Yeah. I mean, honestly, he's one of our best players. You can't drop him to the bench. Yeah, he always puts in an effort. You don't see any, complaints by Josh Curran. He puts in the workload on the field and shows a lot of pride in that jersey. So Josh Curran needs to be starting. I wouldn't drop him to the bench. I just wouldn't. It was a wrong decision at the end of the day.
Yeah, no, I agree. Words sort of escape me really when it comes to the selection here, especially when being dropped. When you drop a player who's usually putting his hands up most nights anyway, right? Giving us all 110%, and then you drop him. For what reason? I hope this doesn't happen again, because Josh Curran came out off the bench and basically proved to us why he needs to be selected. And I'm not saying we thought he should be dropped. No, nobody in their right mind who supports the Warriors should think Josh Curran should ever be put on the bench. But at some point, just saying the way he played was it was good. He came in, he played a lot better than Bennett, Murchie, or Suriname, to be fair with you guys. And I think he was actually probably defensively better than our two starting props too. I might add, if I might be wrong there, but I think he was. Poor choice there by Stacey Jones. Last but not least as well, Jackson Fry, sorry. And I'm actually a big fan of Jackson Fry. I know he doesn't really play for us, right? He plays here and there. Yep. But it was actually good to see him play. And again, he didn't play much at all. But I'm assuming that he's going to be signed for next year. He hasn't been signed yet, has he?
No, he hasn't been signed for next year. I think he's I don't know. I think he's off contract. I'm pretty sure he's off contract. So
he is off contract.
Yeah. So hopefully the club can sign him and keep on for the next couple of seasons, because I think when he gets his opportunities, I think he can be a pretty good player. I mean, we haven't seen too much of him. Obviously, limited opportunities, but what I saw, when I watched him a couple of years ago was when he played for the New South Wales Cup Warriors team, and I believe he played a bit of the Auckland Vulcans as well, when they're back known as the Auckland Vulcans back then as well. So, yeah, he's had a few runs of injuries as well, which was tough. He had a few injury spells, especially when he was given that opportunity in a preseason trial a couple of years ago. Saw that, and unfortunately he had a season-ending injury, which killed his opportunities. So, yeah, I think, I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind if we re-sign for the next couple of years. Give him some opportunities and see how he goes.
Yeah. And look, I don't think you can really comment on how he played. He played a very small sort of game there, so we'll just leave it at that. But in saying that, I wouldn't mind if we did re-sign Jeff Fry. All right, so now, guys, we're going to go into the topics as well, right? So just give me your thoughts on Stacey Jones' win now comment, and obviously the disaster that basically it was. What are your thoughts on Stacey Jones having that win now comment, selecting Egan ahead of, say, Ussie, not blooding the young ones? What are your thoughts on it overall?
Yeah, look, I personally don't understand it. We've got nothing to play for at the end of the day. I know we want to avoid finishing last, fair enough, but does it really matter? Look, I don't think it does, to be honest. I mean, we're not, we're in a position where we need to look to the future, for the next couple of years. So, you've got Andrew Webster coming next season. You got Kathy McFadden coming on board, which I'm sure we'll talk about in the show soon. So, look, I don't understand it. I think Stacey Jones, he's in a position where he is, he's not coaching next year. Let's be quite honest. He's not going to be the head coach. We know who the head coach is going to be. Apparently, Stacey Jones will be still involved in the club as an assistant coach, which I personally don't mind it. I think he should stay on board in some capacity behind the club. But the win now situation, his comment around winning now, I don't see the point, to be honest. I mean, next year, we need to be focusing on next year. Look at the development side of the young players, and Dejan Arcee's there, Volkman's there. Look, we'll talk about Volkman in the show. There's a bit of news going around about Volkman today, but that's just my general thoughts on it.
Yeah, no. Look, for mine, first and foremost, because obviously that to add a bit of context, that's the reason why he selected Egan at 5'8" was because he wanted to win now, right? It wasn't about looking at the future; it's about now. And obviously, the disaster in that selection was the fact that we absolutely got pummeled by the Rabbitohs, and unfortunately, Egan probably had his worst game in the Warriors jersey, in my opinion. He had his worst game in the Warriors jersey. A few uncharacteristic missed tackles, for somebody who's usually top-notch in defense, again, because he's out of position, all that jazz there. For the coach to say win now, I thought for mine, and again, I mean this respectfully, but from a coaching context, does he not understand where we're at? Obviously, this is a coach, the interim coach, I get it, but obviously, I don't think he understands where we're at. I don't think he understands the situation, because if he did, there's no way you'd be putting Egan at 5'8". You'd go with Arcee any day of the week, right? And the Volkman, if you could. Look, my thoughts, I guess, just to sum it up, just very disappointing, and it showed me a coach who doesn't care or is over with the season, which, hey, fair enough, I understand. The season has been hard, it's been tough, it's been ugly, it's been yuck, it's been all those words and then some. But to, I guess, show no care, regardless, especially from a coaching context, I just don't think there's an excuse there. And the whole win now thing, I don't like it. I don't get it. And I hope I never hear that again. All right. Big news. Recently announced in the last couple of hours, ladies and gentlemen, Eliesa Katoa next year is now gone to the Melbourne Storm due to lack of opportunities. Cameron George coming out and saying that he basically sympathizes with Eliesa Katoa. I think it'd be best for Fanatics to explain your thoughts first, and I'll round it off.
Yeah, look, I know Eliesa Katoa hasn't had his best couple of years, but for me, looking at what he did in 2020, especially, it was his rookie year, and he look, I thought it was, he played some great footy, and he came from a background which particularly, is known as rugby union. Rugby union's one of the different codes. Hardly played any NRL footy, and I think it was Peter O'Sullivan, who used to work at the club, was a recruitment manager who scouted him. He was the main reason we got him at the club, and in saying that, like with Eliesa Katoa, I think it hasn't been his best the last couple of years. But is that entirely his fault? I don't think it is, and I know many people might disagree with me on this one. But you've had different coaches on board. You've had Nathan Brown there. Nathan Brown hasn't really helped him at all. There's some cases where you drop him 1 week, the next week he's somewhere in the reserves, or he's starting. It's just a mixed bag, isn't it? He's not getting those opportunities. If you want to see a player develop, you're not going to develop them by just dropping them. Just completely dropping them each week. That's not a way to help a player improve. And he's had a few injuries as well. Elias Katoa, a couple of injuries. It's not helped him. But overall, going to the Melbourne Storm, I think is probably the best move for him. I think it's a positive for him. It's gutting. It's disappointing. I personally would have loved to keep them at the club because young players, I don't like losing young players. I really don't. I really am a person that wants to see us develop the younger players from New Zealand, but we tend to be a club that's unable to do it. That's our problem. It's been our problem for many years. Not all players have left the Warriors and done well, but in saying that, Elias Katoa going to the Melbourne Storm, I think the Melbourne Storm are a team that can get the best out of them. You've got Craig Bellamy there, one of the best coaches in the game. You got a good system at the Storm, which will help him. It will develop him, and I do wish him all the best. So good luck to Elias Katoa at the Storm, but I am disappointed that we're not keeping him.
Yep. No, what you said there is good, and also what you said there is also a big part of the issue at the Warriors, basically, right? The fact that we look at the Storm as a team that can develop Katoa, right? Because we can't, shows you just how much of a failure of a club we are. The fact that we can't keep our own talent. I think for mine, Elias Katoa unfortunately has fell victim to this horrid season, right? You mentioned Nathan Brown.
Absolutely.
In 1 week and then dropping him for like the next 5 weeks and then bring him in. I think Katoa just got sick of it. Now, I understand that Katoa could have probably had a bit of time for self-reflection and probably could have chose this opportunity to, I guess, now again, I don't mean this disrespectfully, but probably decide to build a bit of character, a bit of grit, a bit of, all right, I'll fight for this and I'll do my best. But no, he decided, nah, it's all right, enough's enough. I'm done. I'm leaving. I want to go to the Storm, I'll play my best. And that's just what's happened, right? But we all know that players all have an opportunity to decide what happens when this sort of comes. And Katoa decided to go to the Storm. Now, again, I'm not going to blame him because ultimately the Warriors are look, whether you support us or not, it doesn't matter. It doesn't change the fact that we're a crap show. All right, it doesn't change the fact that we're a crap show. It doesn't change the fact that we have an owner, right? And again, I really want to try and just keep this really brief, but we have an owner who is unfortunately very hard to, I think, engage with, very hard to sort of get a grasp on respectfully, and I'll just leave it at that, right? And so when you have all those things, unfortunately, from the top down, it sort of corrodes, rots, and that's what we're seeing, right? I did not expect Katoa in a million years to be leaving us, but here we are. He's gone, and again, it's not about necessarily your thoughts on how he was as a player, because he had his good moments and his bad moments. Fanatics touched on it as well. 2020 was a very good year for him. Obviously, his rookie year, and now he's gone, right? And it shows again just how inept we are, how absolutely disgraceful we are as a club and organization, regards to keeping our young players, keeping players that we blooded. And as much as I hate to say this, he's going to thrive at the Storm. He really is. Bellamy is going to use physical attributes to his advantage. He's going to unlock things that we couldn't get out of him, because we are a club that quite clearly, who wants to stick around, really, honestly, who wants to? All right, and I'll leave it at that. Because as I'm talking, I'm sorry, guys, I'm getting a bit frustrated. I'm getting a bit boiled in the blood, so I'll skip that one. Volkman out for the season. Fanatics, can you please let us know the unfortunate news?
Yeah, so look, I'll just get it up. So the Warriors website here. So apparently, Volkman, Vodafone Warriors halfback Ron Volkman, set to have a season-ending injury. The 20-year-old will be operated this Friday after ongoing issues with shoulder injuries. So yeah, just a confirmation there. there's been a lot of talk around Ronald Volkman and why he's not been selected over the last couple of weeks, him and Dejan Arce, but now we know why. So, yeah, it's really unfortunate. It's really gutting to hear, disappointing to hear, and when he's come in and played a few games for us, I think he's done a good job. So, yeah, I hope he has a speedy recovery. I hope his surgery goes well, and yeah, look, now we know why he's not been picked every week. So, yeah, look, it is what it is at the end of the day, and hopefully he can come back better and bigger and stronger next year, and hopefully have a good preseason, and who knows what will happen from there. But it's unfortunate.
Yeah, I agree. But the silver lining, it's about next year, so it'll be good to see him.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Cappy and Richard Ager. So Andrew McFadden and Richard Ager. We all know what's happened the past week there. News surrounding these two individuals. Richard Ager is an Englishman who's coached around the Super League, is an assistant coach for Toa Samoa currently. And so he's got a bit of experience, but he's going to be coming in the assistant role, helping out Andrew Webster for next year. Andrew McFadden comes back, but not in the coaching role, obviously, but he comes back as a recruitment developer, overseer, pathways manager. He comes in basically trying to help the Warriors secure future talents, future signings, but at the same time as well, creating a pathway for players to be linked into the Warriors for the future, right? And I'm assuming that's unders and so on and so forth. So again, that's the context there for you guys. I guess Fanatics, I'll hand it to you and then I'll give my own touches on it before we get into another surprise topic for you guys. Yeah, what are your thoughts on these two signings, again, for better or for worse?
Yeah, look, it's an interesting one. I like that. I know he's been talked about what he's done in the past with his coaching record and how he didn't do out the Warriors. Andrew McFadden, Cappy McFadden. I think him coming on board as a club in a role which is, it's a role that he hasn't done before. He's done a lot of coaching, assistant coaching. He was currently, I believe, assistant coach at the Raiders. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think he's doing some stuff there with the Raiders. But yeah,
Yep.
it's
yes.
I think it's a good move. I mean, people might look at his coaching record and say, why are we bringing back someone that's recently worked at a club that got sacked and that? But look, I like Andrew McFadden. I like Kevin McFadden. I had a chance to meet him before in a Warriors training session. Very nice bloke. Has got a bit of a family as well, and he knows the club pretty well because he's worked at the team before. I know different people now, but he has got a bit of a history of working with the club, so he knows a bit about the Warriors and what they do. And I think it'll be interesting for sure. I just think him coming on board, just help the development side with the pathways, and it will be interesting to see what he does there and what he does with the recruitment as well. So, yeah, look, I don't mind it. I really don't. I really don't mind the Andrew McFadden appointment as pathways and I think it's pathways and recruitment manager or some sort of in that sort of area. And regards to Ashton A, is it Ashton Ager?
Richard
Ager. Sorry, Richard Ager. Yeah. Wrong person. Richard Ager. Yeah, look, it's an interesting one. I don't know too much about him, to be completely honest. I do watch the Super League. I do follow the Super League, but I've only started watching it second year, so I don't know too much around his background. I believe he's coached a number of teams as well. He's coached, I think, Leeds Rhinos, Hull FC, you name it. I mean, he's been in the background quite a bit, so it'll be interesting to see what he does. He's come from an English system there, so yeah, I don't know too much about his area, but I just hope he does go well.
Yep, no, I think that's well said. Look, for mine, and I guess before we get into this humoristic sort of a comment there, yeah, look, with these two signings, in all honesty, I really want to know what the end game is here. Obviously, it's success. Obviously, it's about trying to reach a certain goal. But what I'm trying to say, though, is who made the call? Why did they make the call? What sort of reasonings are behind it? Why did the owner make this call? Like for what specific reason was Richard Ager signed over, say, I don't know, someone else who could have been available, or Cappy McFadden, right? I just want to know why. I mean, again, and I'm not saying I'm disappointed, because to be fair with you guys, I don't know what Cappy McFadden is going to be bringing to this role, nor do I know what Richard Ager is going to be bringing to this role. That's the be all end all, right?
Yeah.
Reality. I don't know what they're going to bring. But the question is, though, why were they selected specifically? Why? And I don't think we're really given a why as much as we'll just explain why they were selected in regards to their positions they've held previously, but had nothing to do with their actual credentials regarding why, the general why, and that's where I'm sort of stuck personally, questioning. Again, very quizzical. But again, such is the Warriors, right? Such as supporting this club. We're always going to be left with a lot of questions, more questions than answers, right? And I think that's been the general theme. So, yeah, look, I'm happy with it. But yeah, at the same time, yeah. Anyway, this question here by David Stevens, before we move on. If the Warriors played against the bye, would they get the win? Would we win, Fanatics, or do you think we lose?
I'll be positive. I'll say yeah. Why not?
No, I reckon we lose. I reckon a few of our players get injured and we forfeit. So, yeah. All right, guys.
Yep.
Ta-da. Rugby League World Cup chat.
Yes.
Before I sort of get into this, letting you guys know that myself and Fanatics are planning to basically go all ape in regards to the Rugby League World Cup. Content. A few live watch-alongs as well from both of us, and we're planning to also watch some games together as well. The Rugby League World Cup is the light at the end of the tunnel for me after this absolute horrific season supporting the Warriors. So I'm actually looking forward to it. Now, for this particular chat here, we're going to be talking about the pools and I guess about the teams. Not necessarily predicting who's going to come first, second, first. No. Just talking about the teams that are on there.
Yep.
Maybe, I don't know, we'll see what happens. Anything can happen. But yeah, here we go. Pool A. So Pool A consists of England, Samoa, France, and Greece. So for yourself, Fanatics, what teams sort of stick out for you right here?
Well, you got your host, England, and you got Samoa. So those are the two teams that definitely stand out for me. Look, with England, I think, they've got a squad capable. I think they've got a squad and team and coaching group capable of winning the World Cup at the end of the year. I think they have for sure. I mean, you look at the last World Cup, I think they only lost by one try to Australia in the final. Correct me if I'm wrong there. I think it was, yep. So one try. And I think England, I know people, diss the Super League and people aren't, people are hypercritical about the Super League, which I don't understand. I really like the Super League. I think it's a good brand of footy that they play there. I know you can laugh at me all you want, but that's just my opinion on it. I don't get the hate the Super League gets. So, you got some. I know people say, "Oh, look, the retired players from the NRL go there because they don't have a career afterwards. They just go there for the money and all that." And the Super League is it that good? Is it is the players in the group of talent good enough there? But I think it's definitely good enough. I think England are definitely a chance. I think they really have an opportunity to win the Rugby League World Cup this year. I think they should be. They should be up there, challenging like the likes of Australia and the Kiwis, possibly Tonga. But, England, for me, stand out the most, being the host nation of the tournament. And then you got underdogs, someone like a Samoa. Now, Samoa have got the team, they've got Jerome Luai, who's apparently committed to Samoa. Is that right? I think it is.
Correct.
Yep. So he's committed to Samoa. So Samoa are going to have a very good side. They really are. They're going to have a good side. They're going to have good halves pairing. They've got Brian To'o. They've got all those good players in there. You look at what, Penrith have brought up with those type of players. So I think Samoa definitely could really, do something at this Rugby League World Cup. I really think they can. The only concern for me with Samoa is the coaching. That's my only concern with them, the coaching side. But beside that, England and Samoa are the ones that stand out for me the most in this pool. France, Greece, well, I don't really know a lot about Greece, to be completely honest. I know nothing about them, to be fair. And France, look, yes, I think, you got your two Super League teams this year. You got Catalan Dragons, you got Toulouse, the Toulouse Olympic as well. So,
Olympic.
Yep. So, France, who knows, but if you're looking at favourites in this pool in particular, you got to go with England, obviously, to top the group. Samoa, maybe to throw a span in the works there in this pool. But, yeah, look, those are the two teams, like I said, that stand out.
Yeah, look, I just want to make two quick comments. One, the Super League. Look, one of the reasons why I always defend the Super League, especially with against the NRL fan base who, for some reason, very against it. You imagine trying to, start up a competition like that in Europe, especially with the soccer there. Football is the number one world in the sport. In the world, all the leagues from Liga 1 to EPL to the German league. Come on. That's what the Super League have to compete with. The NRL will die, will be treated the same if they move to Europe. Sorry. I know you don't like to hear it, but the NRL will be treated the same. It'll get destroyed by the soccer there. So don't even, the Super League are very, it's not even about being a small fish in a big pond. They're just a brave fish. They're brave for doing it. And that's the reason why a lot of us should support them. Obviously, it's not as good as the NRL. We get it, but stop stating the obvious. The NRL have it so easy here in Australia, especially being in New Zealand, Australia and New Zealand. There's not that much competition. It's only AFL in Australia, really. And then you got the rugby in New Zealand. That's about it. But you try competing against the football there in England, in France, you know what I mean? And it's night and day, So I always encourage the NRL fan base, don't bash the Super League. Honestly, if you knew what they're up against, you'd be, Anyway. Look, I think for mine, the first game is England versus Samoa, and quite literally, I think the winner of that game is going to top the pool. As for Greece, for those of you guys who don't know, Greece recently actually just had rugby league recognized as a sport. It wasn't actually that long ago when players actually used to get arrested for playing rugby league in Greece.
Jeez.
They used to get arrested, right? So Greece, in regards to rugby league, it's not only has it been hard work, but it's also been a lot of sacrifice. And a lot of people are risking their own personal freedoms to play this game. So whenever you see a team like Greece come out there, look, there's a very high chance we all know they're unfortunately going to get flogged. But again, it's a team that you encourage, you back them, because they've done a lot to get into this game. They've done so much to be part of this Rugby League World Cup. And there's a lot of unforetold stories about different teams from different national teams that we don't know about because they won't be told properly. But as for France, well, I love the French, as you guys know. But I think it's definitely between England and Samoa. Pool B, Scotland, Italy, Australia, and Fiji. What are your thoughts on what team sort of this here could be full of death to some extent, but then probably not. I mean, you probably look at Australia, Fiji, think straight away that's it. But in saying that, you got Scotland there. They're no walkovers. They actually drew Samoa in the Rugby League World Cup, the last one. So we all know Australia are going to be favourites, right? That's it. Whether you like it or not, that's the reality. They're going to top the pool. So really, it's a pool of death almost. I think it almost is. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Like, what are your thoughts on Fiji, Italy, and Scotland? And you think Fiji run away with this, or do you think it's going to be a bit tougher than we think? What are your thoughts?
Look, I think Fiji should get out of this pool rather comfortably. Look, if you look at the talent, Fiji have in the game in rugby league, and in the NRL in particular, they just have so much players to choose from. You got your Rabbitohs, you got your You got what's the winger called from Parramatta? I forgot his name now. His name
Hey,
escapes. The Parramatta winger currently, Eels
Sibo,
winger, Sevo.
Marcus
Yeah, that's
Sibo.
right. Yeah, that's right. Marcus Sevo. You've also got that player that I think what's his name, Chiruva. Yeah, Chiruva. That's his last name's Chiruva. The first name
Sunil
escapes.
Ruba.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. So, you got him, and he played well. In that that series that we had. The Pacific. What was it? The Pacific. What was it called again? Sorry, I forgot the name. But yeah, look, I mean, Chiruva. He's another good talent there. You got a lot of good players, Fiji, and I think Fiji for me definitely. If you're looking at this pool, I think they should progress with Australia, but that's I don't see it going the other way. I mean, Scotland are an interesting team, but Italy, yeah, I don't know. They don't really stand out to me. So yeah, I think Fiji for sure. They should really go through this pool, and they just have the talent for me and the players to do it.
Yeah, look, well, look, that's right.
Yeah.
Logically, Fiji should make it. That's right, and I agree with you. But in saying that, Scotland, they're my darkies. They're my dark horse to stir the pot, so to speak. I'm telling you that Fiji Scotland game. Keep an eye on that one. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all. Look, hey, to be fair, it could absolutely be one-sided. Fiji win by 30 points. That's the reality. But just hang on, hold your horses. The Scottish are coming. All right, Pool C, Jamaica, Ireland, New Zealand, and Lebanon. This is such a cultural mix of the amazing sport, right? Jamaica, I think that's everyone's second favorite team, right? Cool runnings, you know what I mean? Usain Bolt, reggae music, Jamaica, you know what I mean? Ireland, New Zealand, Lebanon. I think it's going to be quite clear, much like Pool B, New Zealand make it through, so we don't need to really talk about them. Now we've got here and Jamaica, they're not a bad team. Obviously, they wouldn't get much exposure being in the Caribbean, but a majority of their players are from the Super League of Jamaican descent, and they have about, I think, 2 or 3 players who are actually from, the island of Jamaica. What are your thoughts, I guess, from your perspective? I'd like to know your thoughts, especially somebody who obviously doesn't know too much about the other 3 teams. Give me your thoughts. I'd be very interested to hear them.
Oh, well, you probably want to hear my thoughts because I absolutely know nothing about Jamaica or Ireland at all. So I know New Zealand, obviously. I know Lebanon. I know a bit about Lebanon, actually. I didn't know much about them at the start, but sort of learning on the way. But Ireland, Jamaica, yeah, look, if you ask me about my knowledge on those 2 teams, it's absolutely zero. So, yeah, it's definitely a hard one to say anything about those 2 teams because, I don't really know too much about them. So, yeah, I mean, if you're looking at this pool, obviously, New Zealand will top it rather comfortably. They'll be way ahead.
That's the reality.
That's definitely the reality. Yeah, like you said there. And Lebanon are going to have some good talent coming through. They've got, they had that game against Malta.
Yep.
And that game was just a trial sort of version because we only saw young players there. We didn't see any of the NRL stars kit up in that game.
Respectfully, sorry for that. Sorry. Respectfully, it was Lebanon seaside against Malta's side, respectfully.
Yes, exactly right. Yeah. So, you had Mitchell Moses there. He will surely play for them. And you got the likes of your Adam Dewey's. All good players there, and obviously with the coaching, it's interesting. You got Michael Checker coaching. A former Wallabies rugby coach, which is a bit different. It is a bit different. He's coaching Argentina at the moment, so I don't know how he does 2 jobs at once, but it's
2
ridiculous.
different countries, other side of the world.
2 different countries on the other side of the world. One he's in Argentina, then he's coming back to Australia to coach Lebanon, and it's remarkable, isn't it? It's remarkable. It's crazy how it's all planned out. Wallaby coach and turns into a Lebanon coach, and now he's doing stuff with Argentina as well. So Yeah, look, I think Lebanon, for me and New Zealand, probably more favoured in this pool. I think they'll both comfortably go through. I just don't see those other two teams. Yeah, look, respectfully, just being respectfully, I just don't see it.
Yeah. Look.
Should be New Zealand, not Lebanon.
Yeah, look, again, much like Pool B, logically, like Fiji, right, Australia, you think it's Lebanon, New Zealand. But again, I'm going to throw a little bit of a smoke there for you guys. Watch out for Jamaica. They're very hearty. And I'm being serious right now. We all know about the fast NR wingers, right? But Jamaica, they've seriously got some speed. I kid you not. Some of their wingers are as fast as Saab, as Adokar, as Tabuai. Watch them run. Obviously it's that Jamaica, the land of the sprinters. You know what I mean? There's a plethora of them. But I reckon watch them to try and shake things up a little bit. But yeah, that's right. In saying that, it should be New Zealand, Lebanon, and Ireland as well. Respectfully, Pool D, the last pool before we close this off. Pool D, you have Papua New Guinea, Tonga, Cook Islands, and Wales. Yes. I truly believe this is the pool of death. This is the pool of death.
Yep.
This is the pool of death. Give me your thoughts, man. What teams stand up for you, man? Because this is it. This is scary. This is scary. This is a scary pool.
Yeah, looking at this pool, I mean, you got your Papua New Guinea, PNG. I was very impressed with what PNG did, and against Fiji, a game which they were not favoured. There was a lot of people. There was a lot of talk around the Fiji side and how there was so much NRL talent, NRL players, and I think Papua New Guinea are definitely a team that you can't rule out as a team that could potentially upset one of the top teams. Might be crazy to say it because it's never happened before, but they could possibly do a Tonga and beat someone like maybe in England, maybe in New Zealand, maybe someone like that. I think Papua New Guinea, they've got the talent to do it for sure. As for Tonga, I think Tonga for me is probably another team that I reckon will go through the pool and into the finals. And they're a team, obviously, we know what Tonga have done over the last couple of years. We've seen the rapid rise and improvement. The players in particular, the coaches have really made Tonga, where they are now, where they are in the rankings. I believe they're third or second in the rankings currently, the rugby league rankings at the moment. So it's been a rapid rise for them, although they did lose to New Zealand. But in saying that, Tonga, I think once they have their full strength side, that was not their full strength side. I think their 4-pack's one of the best 4-packs in the international game. I think they've really got the pack. It's just the halves they need to sort out for me, the halves and the fullback position. I mean, if they can sort that out, I think Tonga will be a real massive threat and a danger at this World Cup. I really do. So, yeah, I mean, it's Tonga for me. Papua New Guinea, there are two teams that stand out. Cook Islands, look, I think Cook Islands, we saw what the lack of inexperience had for them, in their previous game. They just didn't have enough NRL experience in that side, and I don't know what they're going to do at this World Cup. I really don't. I think maybe a fourth-place finish or a third-place finish in the pool for me. But besides that, Tonga, PNG, standouts for me in this pool. And I think they will go through.
I reckon that Tonga and PNG clash is probably going to be the most physical match we might see of the year, I reckon, potentially.
Definitely.
Again, Papua New Guinea, there's just something about them when they put that jersey on. I say it time and time again, but in regards to a nation that shows so much pride, we've got to remember that Papua New Guinea is the only team coming in this World Cup here where rugby league is its national sport. End of story, no debate there. But in saying that, I think Tonga too, is probably heading that way too, where it's its national sport. And I think Cook Islands' national sport is rugby league as well. I know in Wales, I think a few decades ago, it used to be rugby league. Correct me if I'm wrong there in one of the comments there. But look, in saying that, though, I still genuinely believe this is the pool of death. I'm actually open to anyone coming through at this pool. Probably Wales, probably not Wales, but the Pacific clash, basically, Cook Islands, Tonga, Papua New Guinea. You're going to get your money's worth watching these guys play at it, going hammer and tongs. But yeah, I think for mine, realistically, though, you're looking at a Tonga and Papua New Guinea, 1 and 2. Again, I'm not going to be specific as to where I put it because I don't know. I don't know. It could go either way. But I think Tonga and Papua New Guinea make it through. But again, it should be a very good pool nonetheless. Looking forward to seeing what Wales can sort of throw in there, though. The Rugby League World Cup always has a few surprises, a few memorable moments, and teams that we sort of just go away, just never really forgetting about. But in saying that, should be good. Anyway, guys, I think that rounds up our show tonight, HTB Live. First and foremost, I want to thank you guys for watching, for sticking around, commenting, and again, listening to me and Fanatics as we just absolutely just went hammer and tongs in our team we love, because why not? Before I go, though, is there anything you want to sort of say, Fanatics, please, before we bid you guys adieu?
No, I'd just like to say a massive thank you to Hold the Ball for having me on your channel. Once again, it's been a great discussion, and it's been great to come back and do this sort of thing with you again, these live chats. I really enjoy them, and we know, you and me share the same passion for our team, the Warriors, and we love rugby league, and we share frustrations, but we also share hopes in the next hopefully next year, but, just thanks, Hold Ball. Thanks to everyone for tuning in and watching and contributing in the live comments here. And yes, it's been a great show. And look, you'll definitely see me on again for sure. I mean, I'm sure me and Holder will be doing some more lives maybe in the next couple of weeks. Who knows? But look, thanks for having me on Hold the Ball, and cheers to everyone for watching.
No, awesome, man. Thank you again, Fanatics. Again, a great person to have on a continual basis. Like you said, we're just two passionate Warriors fans, and I think that's really about Warriors fans. We just care deeply about the club, and I think that probably therein lies the issue. I think we just generally care for the club, and we just want the best for it, right? And regardless of where you're sort of stemming from, so long as you're not attacking players personally, which is what we absolutely advocate against, Fanatics and myself.
Absolutely.
We'll let have our say, and I think we're being clean, we're being very thorough, straight to the point, and again, just passionate. But yeah, that's right. I think that's where the problem lies. We just love the club too much. Unfortunately, it is what it is. We let this club dictate how we feel on a week-to-week basis. So so be it. So so it crumbles. But I'm saying thank you again, guys, for watching, partaking, participating. Hold the Ball is back. He is back. We are back. Rugby League is back. Go the Warriors. Smash every two we faced. But I said that. Take it easy. See you guys next time. And Fanatics, guess what? You know how to hold the ball.